This is the designer belt tier list. Hey everybody, I am Massimo and welcome back to the only channel on YouTube that covers in-depth videos of cars and streetwear. And today we're kicking it back with a tier list. I haven't done a tier list in a while, so I figured why not try it out with the best of the best designer belts. I've compiled a list of the 20 best designer belts in my eyes. And to keep this list nice and simple, I chose one belt per brand. Otherwise, we'd be here all freaking day going over belts. So I really do hope you guys like the list I compiled for you guys. If you guys see any belts that you think should have been on this list, be sure to comment down below what you think that belt is and which category it should be in. But this is through my eyes. So without further ado, be sure to like and share for that YouTube algorithm, as well as subscribe. Any support would just be awesome. Now let's get over it. All right, so first off, we're going to go over the basics here. All right, so we're going to go for the Salvatore Ferragamo belt, and this one is an iconic belt, you know, seen in movies like Uncut Gems and stuff. Kind of really nice. It's all black with the double A's. Some come in silver. The best one, I think, in gold. Really nice and sleek. You know, I feel like a lot of these belts are just, let's just grab our logo and make it the buckle, specifically our initials, and let's try to do it better than the last designer brand. And gotta tell you, Salvatore Ferragamo is one of the better ones, but I wouldn't say it's the best. Neither is it S tier. I would say it's a happy medium right there at B tier. Next one on this list I'm gonna pull out would be the Burberry belt. Now this is what I believe to be the best Burberry belt. It's got the monogram on there, and it's got the B in the middle. Some of them just have the B, some of them just have the monogram. This one has both, so that's why I think this one is the best. This one, same deal. Let's take our logo and put it as the buckle and just try to do it differently. This one has the B with the B right there, and with the monogram and everything. I think this one is probably one of the better belts, to be honest with you. But do I think it's the best? One of the best? Not really. So I think we're gonna put this one in 8. Really nice belt indeed, and I think it's really good for the price as well. Some of these belts on this list are absolutely insane. Next we have the Moschino belt. This one, I really like what they try to do with this belt, man. They're just like, screw putting the initials on the belt, let's just put the whole freaking brand on there. And it looks really incredible, really shouty, man. This one definitely tries to be different from the rest, and I actually praise him for it. Really slick, got the gold leathering on there with the black leather. I'm gonna put this right there with the Salvatore Ferragamo belt. You know, I'm gonna put this actually ahead of the Salvatore Ferragamo belt, for at least trying to be different. To me, it's just a little bit too plain. You know, it isn't a little too plain. Actually, you know, we're gonna put an A tier. Frick it. I don't care. We're gonna do it. Let's be controversial this list. I don't care. Because there's a lot of belts that are here on this list that are plain, but are kind of good. Like the Gucci belt. Yeah, we're gonna bust out the Gucci belt now. All right, and I chose the Bras double G belt, the more iconic Gucci belt, I think. There's also the silver double G belt, which is really nice. What other belts? I mean, there's so many Gucci belts out there, man, but I think this one gets it for just being the most popular one and the one that probably everybody thinks about first before thinking about any other Gucci belt. And they do a lot of cool things with this Gucci belt, like do a little snake logo and stuff, but I think the plain and simple double G one is probably one of the best ones. And this one, I think, should get S tier for kind of starting that trend. Or at least being the best at the trend of taking your initials and putting it as the buckle of the belt. It's the best one. It started it all, I think. Don't quote me on that. You guys probably comment below. Oh, it actually was this brand that started doing it. I don't know. I feel like it's Gucci. And yeah, really nice. Probably the best tier belts. And also pretty good for the price too. I think they're going for like $380 now for these belts, which is expensive for a belt, but for a designer belt, it's actually on the cheapest. Alrighty. Next one on this list, let's bust out the Tom Ford belt. So like many other designer brands, they just took their logo, put it on the belt. And this one, they did kind of a sideways T. They tried to be a little different. They did. But overall, it's still really plain Jane and stuff, and it doesn't really shout out Tom Ford to me. Decent luxury belt, so we're gonna put this one in D tier. Honestly, just it really does nothing for me. You know, they try to do something, I think it kind of flops. I just don't like the way that the sideways T looks. Alrighty, next one on this list, we're gonna go with, let's go with Tory Burch. So Tory Burch once again puts their logo as the buckle, but this one they used their kind of like classic, you know, T over T look that I kind of like. But this one, once again, it's just a little too plain Jane. But not plain Jane enough to put in D tier, so I'm gonna put it in C. Yeah, you guys probably will hate me on that, but yeah, that's how I just feel about that one. You know, the logo's still pretty cool, but yeah. Alrighty, now the next one we're gonna do is the Dolce & Gabbana belt. Now this one is interesting. Now I did try to search around other Dolce Gabbana belts, man. There's some nicer ones out there, but the one I think that is most popular is just a plain and simple DG belt right here. Interlocking DGs and everything. And come on. Once again, just really plain and simple, copying off the rest ones. They just put their initials and do it interlocking like Gucci or other brands out there. And there's definitely some, it works well on a lot of brands, but this one I just don't like how they try to do it on there. So for that reason, I'm gonna give it a C tier. It's not terrible enough to be in a D tier, but I feel like they could have done a little bit better with their branding right there on this belt. All right, so the next belt on this list we're gonna do is the Chanel belt. Once again, like the Dolce Gabbana belt, it is very plain and simple. Nothing too going on here and stuff. Other times they do try to go with something a little stylistic, like they put some patterns on it and stuff. But for this one being the most popular one, that's why I went for this one. That's also kind of went into the choosing of these belts too, is which one was the more popular one. And this is the one that people are buying up. And it's really, once again, just kind of copying off the rest. Nothing too special here. We're going to put this one in C tier. It's still nice though. The double C's do look really nice on it, but it's just what it is. Alrighty. So next one we're gonna do is the Saint Laurent belt, and this one I kind of like. So this one's like one of the more popular ones right now, and I kind of like how they put the logo, but also they kept a traditional buckle on the belt. So you kind of get like a best of both worlds kind of deal here. And actually, I like the look of it a lot. You still got that nice little YSL logo, and the regular belt buckle, I don't know why, it just looks really clean on this belt. So I'm gonna give this one and put it into the B tier. I think this one was actually better executed than the rest. Alrighty, next we got the Valentino belt. Oh my god. So this one, like the rest, logo on the buckle, but they actually tried to do something really cool with the Valentino logo and do like a cool, box around it. And I think this works out really well, man. So it definitely looks like they try to incorporate a traditional belt buckle into the logo itself. And I think it really hits really nice, especially the big ones that they have. Those ones are really killer. This one, I'm going to put in B tier, and I'm going to put it ahead of Saint Laurent. Actually, you know what? We're going to put this in A tier. We'll put this in A tier right there. I think that's where it belongs, because it just looks like, you look at it and be like, whoa, that's a Valentino belt. It's really nice. Alrighty, the next belt we're going to do is the Christian Louboutin belt. So this one I really like because it's definitely very different. So I just Googled Christian Louboutin belt, and this is one that popped up. Christian Louboutin, known for the red bottom shoes, the spiky shoes, and they incorporated that theme into a belt, and I thought it was really, really nice. They didn't just put their logo on there as the buckle or anything like that. They actually tried to do something really different with this belt, and this is the more popular of the belts, obviously. And I can see why, because this one is really slick. Very expensive. I think this one is like $700 belt. But because it is really freaking clean and it tries to be different, the red and everything, it's sharp looking. Very, very sharp looking. this is a bad boy belt, dude. This is going in A tier. I wouldn't say it's the best, but God bless it for doing something different. All right, next we have the Hermes belt. Hard. This one's gonna be hard because this one is supposed to be like one of the bad boys of belts. You know what I mean? One of the top G belts, and it was one of the heavy hitter belts for the whole putting the logo as the buckle thing. But this one just did it so well. How the H was really clean, really subtle, and everything, and it was pretty shouty somehow. It's just a simple H, but it's nice and it's clean. But it's the best of all time, man. I just can't do it, man. It's got to be behind the Christian Louboutin belt, man. I mean, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that one, but that's just what I think. All right, next we have the Off-White belt. One of my favorites, personal freaking favorite belts. It's definitely the belt that kind of changed the belt game a little bit, because you saw a little bit of a trend, and I'm going to continue on a little bit of like how to style belts with this, dude. I mean, this thing was just crazy, man. It completely changed how people wore belts and stuff with this thing. They didn't just put it on, man. You could put it over yourself, under yourself. The customization for this belt was limitless. And the look of this belt was awesome, dude. It had this really nice industrial, hazardous tape kind of look to it. Off-white, all that stuff. And it was built very industrious. The buckle, man, it felt like some sort of weird cable and everything, dude. The belt itself felt like a really, like a seatbelt harness thing. It was very freaking cool, man. And this is going to this tier. One of the best belts ever, man. I can miss this belt so much. I used to have one. I gave it to my friend of mine. I might buy another one too, man. I just thought they're so cool. And I still think they're really cool. S tier for sure. Next, we have the Christian Dior belt we're gonna do. This one I like a lot, man. The Dior pattern looks really nice on a belt. You know, it kind of does that trend again. Once again, they just put the logos interlocked them. There you go. There's the buckle and everything. But this one, being the more popular one, it has the nice print on it for Christian Dior. And this one, I want to put it in A tier, man. But yeah, it does go in A tier. I know we probably like. Oh no, we can just do that. Yeah, I'm gonna put this one in A tier, and I'm gonna put this one ahead of that one. And yeah, I think it's right there. You know, I will put it right beside the Burberry one because they both kind of do the same thing. All right, this one I kind of put on there for like the budgetary choice. You know, the Michael Kors belt. Once again, nothing special here. They did this cool thing pattern on the belt itself, and they put the MK logo on it. This one was really nice. Good budgetary belt, solid belt, really. Nothing wrong if you buy this belt. It's going into B tier. You know, I honestly think it is better looking than the Chanel or the Dolce & Gabbana and even the Tory Burch one. I just think it's that good. I feel a lot of people are gonna hate me for the Tory Burch one, not looking back at it, but yeah. All right, this next one is really interesting. This one is okay. This next one is probably the more interesting one on this list. It is the Isabel Marant belt. Now, this is what I was talking about with the Off-White belt. It kind of created this thing that people wanted customization, how to wear a belt. And out came the Isabel Marant belt, and I really like this belt a lot. You know, it's just really simple. It's just a piece of freaking leather, but you're supposed to wrap it in all these different ways, and the customization is really cool. So I think I'm gonna put this one in B tier ahead of them all. I don't think it's quite A tier level. I think that this one a little bit better with the branding or something like that stuff, and the belt itself, it probably would have been better. But alrighty, next we have the Prada belt. This one I like, man, because they took the logo and did a triangle with it, had the trademarks and all that stuff on there, and I thought it would look really good on this belt. What, is it as good as these belts in A tier? I think not. I'm gonna put this one ahead of the Ferragamo belt, but not ahead as the Isabel belt. Really good, you know, very classy belt indeed. You know, at least they tried to do something a little different there, and I praise them for that. Alrighty, next we have the Fendi belt. This is probably the belt that people would think about when they think about a Fendi belt. You know, the double F's interlocking underneath each other, make a cool square. Kind of like how they do that. You know, I like when the brands, they do something unique with it. You know, that's why Dolce & Gabbana is so low, because they took the double G's and just interlocked them like Gucci does. No, Fendi did this cool thing where they had the F's be kind of like inverses of each other and make a cool box with it. And also the Fendi print on it looks really nice too, and it kind of repeats the pattern of the F's too. Really like that indeed. I'm pretty sure Fendi does this on multiple stuff, so you probably like, they do this on the other clothing too, you know. But hey, they do it for the belts, and this one is the belt of choice for people. This one, I'm actually going to put it in A tier, and I'm going to put it ahead of the Burberry one. Got a lot of belts in A tier. I think they all kind of deserve it too. All right, these next two belts. Ooh, I probably should have done these spread out. All right, next we have the Versace belt. You guys know how much I like Versace. This one is going in S tier above Gucci. Hands down. All right, so this one, I love Versace because they do things nice and royalty, man. They don't just put the Versace V on the thing or anything like that. They put the whole Medusa head as the buckle. That is freaking sick, guys. That is really cool. And I like how this one, they do the nice, you know, Roman style, Caesar Palace looking pattern on it too. Nice and gold. Oh, such a beautiful belt. Such a great belt, dude. You know, if they just did a regular V or something like that, maybe I would have dropped it down to A tier or something of them. But the Medusa head knocks it off the shelf for me. I really like that one. I know kind of like the belt of choice would probably be the blue one. You know, there's a blue version of this belt that people like a lot. And I like that one too, but I honestly like the plain and simple black. Alrighty, next, I kind of saved the best for last year. We have the Louis Vuitton belt, and the belt of choice I went is the monogram pattern. And I also kind of threw in the Supreme one because that's the one everybody thinks about when they think about Louis Vuitton belt is the monogram one, and the best one has to be the Supreme one. And this one, it's above Versace. Even though I really love the Versace one, probably my favorite designer belt. I don't even have this belt. It's got to be the Louis Vuitton. It's got to be, dude. The brown, the gold LV, everything. I think they were alongside Gucci as the pioneers of the logo belt buckle kind of style and everything. They're probably doing it around the same time as Gucci was doing it. And honestly, they do it the best. They do. And then once again, the Supreme collab. Come on. This is the best belt ever made right here. And I think that's a good way to end off this list. So the designer belt tier list. What'd you guys think about it? Comment down below your opinion, like and share for that YouTube algorithm. And last but certainly not least, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.